This is my land. Our grandfathers have been dying for it. For ages the ground has been watered with the blood of our ancestors, and now it's the best soil in the world. The children of these fertile fields didn't even see themselves being put into those vegetable beds. Today Ukrainians are like cheap vegetables. Our nation is literally torn, cut and sewn into pieces for organs. We decide to perform almost a death-defying act in order to stop this mortal conveyor. Our goal is to reveal an international cartel of transplantologists. Suddenly, my telephone rings in the middle of the night. The number I see on the screen is unknown. My journalistic experience makes me press the record button on my recorder. Hello?
Алло.
A person on the other end whispers he's sorry for calling so late. He says he's in jail and tells a story that makes me sleepless. The next morning in the editorial office of Grom TV, the voice of my night interlocutor is like a bolt from the blue.
Так, давайте зараз всі разом зберемося, треба обговорити одну дуже цікаву тему. Дивіться, народ, в мене є аудіозапис.
Я сейчас нахожусь в СИЗО. Меня обвиняют в продаже органов. Я раскаялся, потому что меня вовлекли в это. Но дело в том, что эти трансплантологи, они продолжают работать и ждут, когда я выйду, чтобы опять вести с ним людей. Хочу, но боюсь, могут и грохнуть меня.
In a week, the organ seller calls again. He got out of a jail and he wants to meet me.
Алло, это Руслан?
Привет.
Да, привет, слушай, что, ты, то мы встретимся или как?
Давайте встретимся.
A skinny guy wearing a dark hooded coat walks out of the crowd. His hands are shaking and a voice is trembling. His story makes my hair stand on end. Ruslan used to work for a secret organization that made Ukrainians go under the knife.
Обвинялся в том, что встречал людей и отводил их в клинику.
Before getting into the system, Ruslan became one of the donors. He was just 18 at the moment. 5 years later, he thinks of that surgery as the biggest mistake of his life.
Когда мне было 18 лет, предложили, согласился.
For the first time in history, a person involved in the black transplantology takes off his mask and is ready to come clean. But he might be not the one who he wants us to think he is. It needs to be checked. Finding this video on the internet isn't hard. You can easily see a guy with a shaven head sitting in the dock. Here he is. He's back with the cameras. We have no doubt that's Ruslan. He's accused of recruitment of donors for the surgeries in the Shalimov Institute of Surgery and Transplantation.
Мне хватило с головой то, что я просидел.
The case shocked the country.
Лікарі столичного інституту імені Шалімова постали перед судом.
Office of Public Prosecutions accuses 3 transplantologists of the institute of being involved in the international crime syndicate. These people searched the internet for people that were ready to sell their organs. These illegal surgeries were performed in Ázerbájdžánu, Ekvádoru, Kosovo and Ukraine. At the time of this cause celebre, the suppliers of the live material shared a dock with the surgeons. The suppliers that recruited donors, Ruslan among them. He met black transplantologists in broad daylight. He was working at a service station when one of his regular customers suddenly offered him some easy money. He would be taken apart, but not cars.
Предлагали там подвести людей, вот. в разные там клиники или еще куда-то, потому что не знали города. В дальнейшем узнал от них же, что они являются донорами почек.
At that moment, Ruslan couldn't even imagine that in a couple of months he'll become a disabled person himself and then see dozens of people from his country off on the train to hell.
Уже приблизительно 7 лет. Это происходит в Эквадоре, в Баку, в Турции.
Ruslan is sure there can be more donors. He just wasn't so well informed about the black business. He just did the legwork for those butchers when Ukrainians were secretly cut open in the Shalimov Institute. After the authorities shut their shop window, the bloody business didn't disappear. It just changed its location. Our citizens had surgeries abroad.
Эта часть анализов проводят и отправляют их за границу. Доноры – это бедные люди, которым там нема за что есть, вообще за что жить.
Former Soviet republics became sort of posts of gold for the organ sellers. Lots of people here are jobless. There's a whole army made of hungry, desperate people ready to do anything in order to survive. And this devil doesn't want you to sell him your soul, only a part of your body.
Предлагали за почку $15 000 и за печень $40 000.
After a lot of thinking, Ruslan decided to show the business with a turnover running into billions from the inside. His job is to promote our agents into the donors line. A week passes by, he never calls back. His cell phone number is not available. We assume that either he got scared or someone found out about his cooperation with the press and now he's in danger.
Да, привет, Руслан, как дела? А куда ты пропал?
Нормально, Андрей, надо, если хотите снять там хоть что-нибудь, надо будет через минут 20 на Севастопольской площади приедет, это главная верховщина.
Through the traffic, we drive to the other end of the city. We need to film our conversation. As soon as our cameraman takes his position, one of the organ-selling business coordinators appears on the stage. It's hard to believe, but Yevgeny Susarchuk is one of those known for the scandal at Shalimov Clinic. He spent 3 years in a jail but was never proved guilty. Susarchuk unexpectedly got out of jail. Unlike his partner, he got back into business right away and started his hunt for the deprived Ukrainians. In the 3 years, he worked up an appetite.
Надо 5 человек. На этот месяц 5 и еще 10. Но не на этот, а на следующий месяц. Сейчас не так, как когда-то я хочу того взял, хочу того взял. Понимаешь? Они унесли в базу данных.
Black transplantologists are keeping records now. Each donor is put on a special list. All the information, where the person works, where he or she lives, is supposed to help the criminals to influence his or her mind. This way the criminals make sure the donor doesn't change his or her mind and run away from the surgeon's scalpel. They divided Ukraine into the zones of control. Criminals, like farmers in the field, all take care of their own crop. With such a scope, these two alone can make hundreds of Ukrainians disabled every year. Susarchuk sighs. He wishes the times of surgeries at Shalimov Clinic could go back. They would roll in money.
Понимаешь, если бы были такие объемы когда-то, когда этих людей не знали, куда засунуть. Если бы такие условия работы были, как когда-то.
Those good for the transplantator's time, Ruslan lost his kidney. He just turned 18 and thought that selling his kidney would buy his independence from his parents and his own place. Now the rules have changed. You can't be under 25 to lie under the knife.
У меня есть такие, что понял, по 23 года, по 22. Все, не канал, а Гена как поедет. Это единственный Гена, кто выезжает. У него же все там пройдено, и этот реципиент.
Recipient is a person who gets a kidney transplant. Usually they pay $120,000 or $150,000. A Ukrainian donor will get no more than 10%. So at least $100,000 will land in black transplantators' pockets. It's not surprising, no one cares about the donors much. If someone decided to become a donor, he doesn't get to change his mind.
Что сейчас это не когда-то, что можно было, с теми что-то не получилось. Ну, сейчас все, фамилию сказал, если оттуда никуда не уйдешь.
Слюсарчук doesn't keep it a secret. He's got everybody on the string. Criminals have their people in passport control, so they make sure a mouse doesn't escape its trap. They also help in case help is needed. A black transplantologist tells us about donors that have been to prison. They can't leave the country for this surgery legally.
У них закрыт выезд, потому что они ранее судим. Есть мужик в погранях. Он говорит, что он сделает проход.
Having listened to the former partner, Ruslan offers a bait. He has two people with passports. They can go anytime. Sound argument. One of the donors has an O blood type, which is priceless for the transplantologist. Such a donor is always extremely valuable in the market. The recruitment coordinator swallowed the bait. Such a donor is always extremely valuable on the black market. The recruitment coordinator swallowed the bait.
9% первая группа. Он говорит, я точно не помню, но скажи первая. Короче, пусть приезжает в понедельник.
To keep themselves above suspicion, agents of Grom TV will walk separately. The first one to pretend to be a donor is a journalist whose name is Vasily. He and Evgeny Slюсарчук meet at a good restaurant. Slюсарчук explains when they will need his kidney.
На даний час потрібно більше ніж 10 людей від першої групи крові.
Vasily plays lost and not sure what blood type he is. He acts as if he is not sure if it's okay to sell his kidney.
15 – це от мітіка немає. Було дертися, зараз прийняли запитання.
Just a little things need to be done. Finding out the blood type. Another step to the clue has been made. Who, where and under whose cover extract Ukrainians' organs.
Скажу так, але щоб щось говорити, треба спочатку хотіти справку. Я готовий.
The next morning, one more agent goes to have test done. A representative of the international syndicate meets journalists with a smile on his face. The journalist looked nervous. A leather jacket he's wearing represents his lifestyle. He's taking the skin of his nationals. As we approach a private lab, Slюсарчук suddenly asks what my motives for lying under the knives are. He gives a nod of understanding as he hears that a loan for the car needs to be paid. It seems that he hears such excuses all the time. His job is to prepare all the papers and escort the client up to the time of departure. I can see that it's not his first time in this lab. Slюsарчуk pays for the tests. People dressed in white suck out the red liquid. A thought goes through my mind. It can't be stopped. Each donor goes through this. The moment when he realizes he's up for selling. A self-preservative instinct goes off. Slюсарчук encourages me, saying that we will know the result by that evening. However, the quality checkup of the living merchandise is not over. We are walking past the old walls and muzzles of the ancient guns to the military hospital. Officially, that's where our kidneys are checked for being natural. Unofficially, that's where they can say whether or not one can sell this part of his or her body. Our guide is good at finding his way through the maze of the hallways of this state hospital. How many hundreds of people has he already sent under the knife? For a couple of minutes, Slюсарчук disappears behind the door that leads to the office of the lieutenant colonel of the medical service. Right away, Елена Гречаник, the doctor, calls us into the office one by one.
Ложитесь, пожалуйста, на спину. Трішки вниз самі. О, прекрасно.
A military medic sees salts in the kidney, which means that there can be no surgery. But the doctor signs a paper saying that the patient is as fit as fiddle. The paper is handed over to the organ seller.
Тобто тут є деформація в тілі. Обов'язково ми даємо об'єктивні дані, для того ви тут знаходитесь.
Андрій Іванович.
Контурівний розмір звичайний, апогеній звичайно.
The morning after the checkup, Slюсарчук persistently calls. Andrei has an O blood type. Satisfied with the results of the test, a black transplantologist says he's getting plane tickets. The kidney is going to be extracted in Turkey.
Так ты живешь, у меня их нет.
Нет, написали, что их нет. А они у тебя есть. Но все равно просят, чтобы выводить, и чтобы вывести эти свои.
Так подожди, это врач сказала, которая смотрела мне на УЗИ?
Да, да.
Since we thought we had at least a week to get ready, this was a piece of news that sounded like a military alarm. We called up an urgent meeting to talk about this operation in details: supervision, cover, ways to back off.
Треба взяти з собою оператора, який полетить зі мною, якщо, наприклад, вони змінять маршрут в останній момент, щоб якби це продовжувати знімати.
Day X. Slusarchuk instructs me before I go.
Вас летит 3 человека. Ты, девочка и еще один парень. Ты просто увидишь этих людей. Это тоже люди летят дома. Летите в Стамбул, с Стамбула на Анкару и потом
In
обратно.
Ankara, a representative of the International Criminal Organization is supposed to meet us. How do I escape as one piece? But to Slusarchuk, who doesn't know what is going on, the stress on a donor's face seems to be just a consequence of being nervous. So the experienced recruitment coordinator encourages his victim. By the way, he himself is a former donor, and he knows for sure there is a happy kind of life once the surgery is in the past.
$15 000 нигде дадут.
Здесь в Киеве. Хочешь, мы могу там дать. Если ты куда-то их приведешь на карточку.
He tells a couple of stories with a happy ending about donors.
Он деньги взял сразу. Прилетел, уехал домой, жена его приезжала встречать.
А как он себя вообще чувствует?
Нормально, живчик.
It turns out that to sell a part of his or her body, a donor must pull the wool over the eyes of the ethic doctoral committee. In Turkey, you can donate organs for your relatives only.
Утверждаешь перед ними, что ты по собственной воле, там из человеческих побуждений.
То есть про деньги я им не говорю.
Купля-продажа криминально наказуема во всем мире. Понимаешь? Вы живете в Анкаре в гостинице, потом в клинике, потом опять в гостинице. И летите сюда обратно.
Couple of hours before the departure, we are checking our equipment and data carriers. The journalist Vasily is responsible for the group that is flying to Ankara a couple of hours ahead of us. They are supposed to meet us at the airport and follow us afterwards in a hard cab.
Все, Вась, давай. Тебе літак до Стамбула, звідти ти летиш в Анкару, правильно?
Домовилися.
Before the departure, Slusarchuk invites us to his place so we meet the other organ donors. It's a typical apartment in Khrushchev building, a 5-storied apartment house. It has been recently remodeled. It's located on Sevestopoliska Square. Beside the owner, there are 2 women and a very young guy in Slusarchuk apartment. Each donor gets a cell phone, a one-way ticket so no one changes their mind, and $50 for the unforeseen expenses, a short orientation on what to say at the passport control.
Ви їдете на роботу в готель. Він був в готелі, ти назву готелю пам'ятаєш?
Маріо Готель.
Ну, от. І ви туди їдете на роботу.
Це Анкара, так?
Так, це Анкара.
Маріо Готель, ми йдемо туди на роботу, так?
Оце друг на таможні. Але там, якщо спитаються, можуть і не питатися. Якщо туди подзвонять, то там підтвердять, що вас чекають там на роботу.
He says all the pills should better be hidden from the others. Then Slusarchuk introduces us to Gena. This guy has already been to Ankara. Last time they refused to perform a surgery on him because the test showed bad results. He has stayed in the hotel for almost a month and came back with both kidneys. Now he has received some treatment and is back to the plan. He will sell his kidney and get to supervise the new ones.
Я просто не знаю, кто будет встречать пока. Ну так все поперепутывалось. Счет у тебя пополнен. Ну да. Так. Давайте ждем вас обратно.
We are trying to warm ourselves into Slusarchuk confidence. Why take a taxi if we can go by the journalist car? A money-saving offer worked. The organ seller is filled with emotions. He promises to get a position of the donor's guide for the journalist after he comes back. Here are last kilometers of the homeland, Borispol Airport. There are familiar faces among those rushing for their planes. The journalist is watching every step of the group. While our guide Gennady is at the currency exchange office, we have time to talk with the lady donor for a bit.
Как-то, они там дадут или что? Просто мы говорили здесь.
Можно взять там. Только поховать по карманам. Вот как мы разделись, чтобы в карманах...
А если пробить по карманам, деньги найдут?
Так вот, это же я говорю, что лучше...
Вам не говорили, сколько времени там надо будет находиться и все остальное?
Ну, в общем, 7 дней.
Вы первый раз, да, вот это? Ну, у вас все нормально было?
Ну, да.
Это тоже первый раз. Он как бы уже не первый раз.
Не, ну он просто полетел, а там не нашлись люди, короче, и его вернули обратно. Там у них меняется вот так. Сегодня да, завтра не, вот так и все.
Вы уже здесь долго?
Вообще я с Женей знакома. Вот это 6 лет.
Не переживайте, просто я очень...
Там вообще ничего. И даже и не бойся, и вообще.
Я журналіст Андрій Павловський, знаходжуся зараз в аеропорту, виїжджаю до Туреччини. Не маю зараз продати свою почку, чого я робити не буду. Якщо зі мною щось станеться, прошу це відео передати до правоохоронних органів.
Only on the plane I will fully realize how dangerous it is. Even the presence of my people on board doesn't make me feel any more confident. There's no going back. It's too late to back off and bring the operation to a close.
Зараз я знаходжуся на літаку, який прямує з Києва до Істамбула. Звідти ми маємо полетіти до Анкари. Якась ситуація досить напружена. Страшно трошки, але я думаю, що все буде добре.
On this land, you are supposed to thank Allah. I guess today he is for us. Journalists that secretly watch the group of donors have enough time to hire a car and start following us. Smooth roads, bright lights, and new buildings made of glass. Here, in the country of civilized technocracy, our people are taken into pieces. New transplantology clinics here spring up all over. We'll be taken to one of them, but first we go to the hotel. The surgery itself is supposed to take place in a couple of days. Yellow taxi cabs are everywhere, and one of them is secretly followed by a red Alfa Romeo. It's the last message from the group from Kyiv for today. Journalist Andrei comes into Marriott Hotel. This chain is well known all over the world. A room costs from 200 to 300 per day. Marble floors, a 20 meters tall chandelier sparkle like a Christmas tree. That's where donors are waiting for their surgery. In the lobby, Albert, the criminal group representative, is meeting us. He examines the newcomers. For a short bit, it felt as if I got kidnapped and this intent gaze of a mafioso is looking for a hidden camera. I have to cover the equipment, that's why on the recording we can only see Albert for a short bit. 16th floor. I will share this room with Gena. The lady donor is staying separately, one floor above us. There's a free minibar, but we are not allowed to drown our grief in wine because the organ we are selling must be clean. The main question is whether there are hidden cameras in the room. According to the legend of the passport control, we came here to Marriott Hotel to work. Are the owners of the hotel involved in the criminal business? Or maybe they don't have a slightest idea of what kind of guests they bring to them from Ukraine. I don't know.
От ми зараз вже в готелі 17-16 наш номер. Нас щойно зустрів представник фірми. Сказав, 2 дні відпочиваємо, далі все як по плану.
Gennady stayed in this luxury suite for almost 3 weeks. The kidney was rejected then because of some test result, but apparently this time he will earn his money. The guy tells me his papers are already forged. According to them, he is a relative of a sick person.
Сделали документы, типа я этим родственником был, ну, 5-го поколения, знаешь, а через 5-е поколение можно, как бы, долгая процедура.
I stay up at night thinking that it can be my last night. Instead of giving up just a kidney, I can be cut apart. This thought had a bigger effect on me than stimulants. When an experienced supervisor woke up and went to have his breakfast, I had a chance to examine the room.
Ось цей номер зазвичай знімають для тих, хто приїжджає з України продавати свої нирки. Ось ми бачимо, бачите, вони дуже пишаються тим, які розповідають, який в них вид з вікна. Бачимо, так? Розкіш – це головне, за рахунок чого їм вдається переконувати, психологічно впливати на людей, які приїжджають з України, яких навіть там кілька гривень немає для того, щоб прожити.
An oak table and a big chair. A huge plasma TV on the wall. Even a phone in the bathroom. In this luxurious hotel, I can't stop feeling trapped in a golden cage. I suggest my roommate that we walk to the mall. I need to give the group that follows us a video recording. Gena acts like a prison guard rather than a guide. He's always nearby not to let the victim escape. As we stroll down the street, we come into the nearest cloth store. Only in the fitting room do I get a chance to secretly exchange memory cards. Our little excursion brought Gena and I onto the last floor on the mall. Standing on a balcony, Gena is smoking and telling me why he decided to sell his kidney and what he is going to do with $15,000.
А ты на что капуста? Ну, реально на что-то нужна или ты просто подмутить решил?
Я вот, например, живу с девчонкой 2 года, я хочу купить свою квартиру. У нас там в городе, вот это то, что у меня дадут, мне хватит на квартиру двухкомнатную и свадьбу хочу сыграть. Значит, жизнь, знаешь.
Gena says that selling a kidney is the only chance for him to get his own place. There is no job where he lives. Those who does work make so little money it's barely enough for living. For Gena, this trip to Turkey is a fairy tale come true. A luxury suit, good food, free clothes.
В отель заселили, который стоит $200 в сутки. Я потратил, я 3 недели здесь был, косарей 10 потратил уже. Зелень, одежду купили, самолеты, перелеты туда-сюда.
А они не могут кинуть? Были случаи, когда могли кинуть? Ты видел?
Нет, потому что это фирма, она как бы работает. И как бы клиенты им нужны. Они что пообещали, то получишь. Ты просто думаешь об этой фирме, ты не думаешь. Ты не переживай ничего.
He suggests that we have a lunch. Polite waiters give us menus with the names of the exotic dishes. Madame Natalia is lost because of these foreign names. She has never tried anything like that before. After the lunch, I go up to her room.
Что?
In her luxury suit, Madame Natalia is not watching her plasma TV. She calms herself doing embroidery. She's patiently waiting for the surgery. Our routine favors relaxing. Food, sleeping, walking.
Завтра будет большой праздник якийсь там. А потом уже суббота-воскресенье, там, получается, мы будем уже встречаться с этими, со своими.
Те, кому мы типа продаем почки?
Да.
Ай.
She understands it all very well, but she's afraid to say it out loud. From our short talk, I get that back in Ukraine she's very poor. Money in exchange for a kidney is the only way for her to live normally. It's been a whole day and their representative still hasn't called. I think of her son's advice. In Kiev, before my departure, he told when I'll have my last chance to run away from the syndicate.
Слыхал еще о таких случаях, когда доноры хотели вернуться, но им не давали этого сделать, потому что по прилету туда на пересадку, вот, там уже есть определенные люди, которые за ними следят, смотрят, чтобы они никуда не делись, никуда не ушли и не убежали.
Ankara, 10 a.m. A sudden phone call breaks the tense silence. This is Albert calling, the guy who met us here in the hotel. Over the phone, he tells Gennady what to do. He finished preparing our papers for the surgery. Our recipients will soon be here. They have an interpreter. Tomorrow morning we will go to the medical center for some tests. It's time to get off the hook. While Gena is in the next room, I write a goodbye note on a piece of toilet paper. I'll make them think I got scared.
Извините меня, пожалуйста, я все еще хорошо обдумал, и я не могу.
According to the plan, we were going to escape in the evening. While Gena and Natalia are having dinner, I have 5 minutes to gather up my stuff. Some of it I leave in the room on purpose to create an illusion that I might be coming back. This will win me some time. Hopefully, they won't find the note right away.
Все, я тікаю звідси, поки двоє донорів знаходяться в ресторані. Я лишаю їм ось послання представникам. Все. Треба тікати.
My heart is literally jumping out of my chest. I'm so nervous that for a short while I even lose control over myself. Several times I check if I forgot the things that are already in my pocket.
Паспорт. Все. Я тікаю звідси. щоб не відслідкували. І я думаю, що можна і сім-карту виділити.
This cold evening feels hot. I need to leave Ankara as soon as possible. When the criminals realize that the donor disappeared, they will start looking for him. The price dollar equivalent is very high.
Літак там через 2 години. Зараз їдемо в Стамбул. Скільки? 400 кілометрів. Ну, я думаю, за пару годин доїдемо.
Это дороже денег. Это дороже денег. Верю, это передаст вверх нашим детям. Верю, что они будут так же верить, как мы верим.
Зараз швидко йду купляю квитки. Подивись, яка їх вартість. Купуй тоді нам квитки. Я зачекаю в машині, тому що, знаєш, менше мене бачили. Добре?
Добре, я повізу квитка. Давай.
Now, the most important part is getting through the passport control. Criminals could warn local police about my escape. Involuntarily, I think of Susarchuk words about their people in the airport. Can we get caught here in the airport? Thank God we are on board. We managed to get on.
Може на борту нам все-таки вдалося зайти.
Зараз я знаходжуся в аеропорту Бориспіль і чомусь на велике здивування для мене зупинила прикордонна служба. Зараз щось відбувається. Вони забрали мій паспорт і просять почекати з іншими. Будь ласка, ваше прізвище.
Говорю, я не керівник.
Я можу попросити ваше прізвище?
Можете подивитися, так.
Горенюк,
Так.
начальник групи Ігор Володимирович.
Так.
13006.
Присаджуйтесь на скамеечку.
I turned my cell phone camera on, and it worked with the officers faster than any explanations. I was held captive for 30 minutes and then set free. They never told me what made them suspect me. After coming back to Ukraine, we handed all the materials to the Kiev administration in fight with the organized crime. In a year, Ruslan, who helped us get inside the organ-selling business, got threatened by his former partners and then disappeared. In a couple of months, he called us and let us know he was alright. He can't come back home. Black transplantologists found out about the journalist's investigation and now he's in danger. For a year, we have been explaining the authorities how important it is to take this matter to court, but neither Susarchuk nor his partners never got arrested. Crime fighters explained that first they couldn't deal with it because of what was going on Maidan Nezalezhnosti, then because of the war in the eastern part of the country. This is my land. Today my brothers and sisters die for it. And while they protect our motherland risking their lives, the other, invisible enemy is destroying the nation from inside. Ukrainians like merchandise are sold out all over the world, being turned into the army of disabled people. Not a natural selection.